Do you ever feel like you're running out of time? Like you should have taken the steps a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, and you're just beating yourself up saying to yourself, why didn't I do this before? Today's video is going to help you in a powerful way take the steps powerfully forward today, which can set you and your family free. So let's get into it. I speak to people so often, I speak to Christians so often who find themselves working a job, working so many hours every single week, and they know that there's more for them in life. They know they desire to have more time freedom, right? They could be working from home, right? Which was supposed to be such a special thing, but because they're being worked so hard, they don't even feel like they're at home anymore. They feel like they're just in chains. And this is why today's video is going to be so significant, because it's like the famous saying, right? The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago or 20 or 30 years ago. The next best time is right now, today. And this is something which we understand, like intuitively makes sense, but it's far harder to do. And this is because we all have a story, we all have beliefs which are guiding the decisions that we're making on a day-to-day basis. So when I speak to people and I'm like, listen, you know what? Like, I can help you, I can show you how to turn the skills that you have that you use every single day, the hobbies, the expertise that you have, and you can turn that into daily profits in 7 days or less, right? When I'm telling people about this, many of the people don't believe it because they think to themselves, you know what? No, I can't do it because I don't look the part. I can't do it because I'm not in the shape that I desire to be. I can't do it because I'm not as smart as I need to be. I can't do it because I'm not prepared. I can't do it because all of these people are going to see me. We all have reasons in our head. I can't do it because I'm too old. I can't do it because I'm too young. I like to say people will believe the lie they're too young for so long, they'll eventually start believing the lie they're too old. And that's how the enemy will deceive them out of not taking action, right? I record videos pretty often, right? Obviously, which kind of makes sense. And this is one of the things which bugged me for quite some time. I'm in my 30s and I already have grey hairs. I spoke about this in a recent video. And that's one of the things which certain times in the past like made me not want to record videos, because I didn't want people thinking, or at least in my mind, I'm like, well, everybody's going to be looking at the grey hairs that are starting to sprout out. But it's like, but Israel, you're only in your 30s. How have you got grey hair? I was not prepared on so many different levels, right? I always used to believe, at least from young anyway, that you get grey hairs in your 50s, in your 60s, etc. and stuff like that. Now, I'm saying all that to say that this is one of the things which held me back in the past at times. There's going to be something different for you which will hold you back. But this is why I always say, like, I base my business, base my success, base my life on the word. And this is why I like to say, win with the word, because God has given us power in the word to win in every situation. And I'm saying that to say, you may be thinking like, well, Israel, what does that have to do with what you're talking about now? It's because what really got me over that hurdle, right, years ago, was the fact of me realizing that, okay, cool, Lord, what in your word can help me win in this situation? If I'm turning around and saying to myself, well, Israel, you're young, you've got grey hairs. The question that popped in my head that one day was, what does the Bible actually say about grey hairs? And I know there's multiple different proverbs as I went on the search, like just from reading proverbs regularly, I realized and understood that, you know what, the Bible often speaks about grey hairs as a good thing, as a blessing, etc. That was one of the things which helped me shift and be like, okay, cool, Israel, you're looking at this like, you know what, you're getting old, you're running out of time, etc. People are going to look at you funny. People are going to think funny things about you. And that all may be true. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to be empowered by those things. I'm going to be empowered by what the word says. So I changed the frame. I changed how I'm looking at the same piece of data, the same example in front of me, and now I'm empowered to continue to do work. In fact, I can even speak about it and help you based on this particular situation. Do you see the difference? It's the same data, it's the same thing which is happening, but one will stop you when you look at it from one angle, one will empower you and cause you to move forward. But it weren't even the passages and Proverbs that really hit me. It was a passage in Matthew chapter 5, which totally kind of just blew my socks off, as they say, right? And I'm going to read it because it's so powerful. And it just totally unlocks so much stuff. And this is what the word can do for you in every area of your life. So this is Matthew chapter 5, verse 36. Notice what it says. This is Jesus, his famous Sermon on the Mount. And he says, neither swear by your head, because you can't make one hair white or black. I remember thinking about this passage in that season, thinking to myself, you can't change one hair white or black. Because one of the things I was thinking at the time was, is it me? Did I do something? Right? And that passage just gave me so much peace. And it was just like, you know what? Israel, you don't even have control over your hair. You can't change one hair white. You can't change it black. You can't go either way. There's people out there who are like, you know, I want to be older. There's people out there who want to be younger, right? It doesn't matter. God is in control. And as I thought about that passage more and more, it helps me be better even at videos. Because why? I'm not recording a video thinking in the back of my mind or thinking deep down in my subconscious, oh, they're looking at you, oh, you're old, etc. No. I say to myself, you know what? God is in control. Like, God is the one who has the power to allow my hair to go black, to go white, or to go any color. And that's what matters. When I think more so about God being in control, when I think more so about God being empowered, I don't let any situation like slow me down. That's the pursuit, that's the goal, that's the drive every single day. Don't let these negative situations, which we all go through, right? We all face these situations. But I continue to program my mind, to renew my mind every single day to say, okay, cool, win with the word, Israel. And it made so much sense. I was thinking about recording this video today. I thought about Paul the Apostle. Paul said something which is so significant. He's basically talking about how he calls himself the chief of sinners, right? The sinner of sinners. And then when you read through some of his writings, he says something which is so significant. He says, you know what? God chose me, God gave me this grace to showcase to all the world how great God's mercy is. And think about it. This is a guy who was putting Christians to death. He was persecuting Christians all into these different parts of the world. And God forgave that guy and said, you know what? I'm going to use you to spread my name across the world. And this is the guy who wrote most of the New Testament, most of the books in the New Testament. So think about it from that perspective. God will take what is negative, what is bad. These are typically the things which we are spending our time focusing on. I can't do it because I've got grey hairs. I can't do it because I'm not in the shape I desire to be. I can't do it because I can't speak the way I need to. I can't do it because I haven't read enough books. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it because I don't have the connections. God will take those scenarios, and when we trust in him, he will turn it and say, you know what? You thought this was a negative, and it may have been a negative, but I'm so powerful, God says, I can turn this into a positive. And when it's turned into a positive, you are now empowered to do what you're supposed to do. Think about how empowered Paul felt and would have been thinking based on knowing that, you know what, as bad, as wicked as I was, God has forgiven me. That just shows you how gracious, how glorious God's mercy actually is. And it's the same thing when you allow God to use you in the way he desires to use you. Stop thinking about the negative things. Stop thinking about that thing which you think is holding you back, and just give it over to God. Go to his word so you can win with the word, and you will see how God can drastically transform your life. Listen, it doesn't matter, right? The best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. It was some point in the past when we should have taken the steps forward. But I want you to understand that even if you start moving today, God can make today the best and the most productive day of your life in regards to his kingdom. And that's why I want you to watch this video right here next, because it will show you why it's not too late for you to be great. Go in, and God bless.